Howdy everybody, how you doing? I'm Matt Street and welcome to my channel, and I'm glad you're back for another edition of Meet the Streetles. At least that's
actually pretty good.
Oh, I like that. Meet the Streetles, right?
All right, I take it.
Get it?
I like it, yeah.
Meet the Beatles, meet the Streetles. Okay. Anyway, so you met my brother Scott Street in the earlier video, and thank you for coming back again and talking with the viewers. On the first video, he talked about his early memories of music. We talked about kind of growing up a little bit with music in our home and with our parents. So I thought it'd be fun now to talk about his later years, teenage years, young adult, coming into today a little bit, and get some of his thoughts on that. Now, what would you say? You mentioned it early in the first video, but you mentioned what are kind of your two favorite genres of music, what you consider to be that foundation for you. What are those two genres again you mentioned to me once?
Yeah, they seem so different in some ways, but being being in high school for the most part through the early 80s, just 80s new wave was such a part of my life and where I worked. And you know, as you can see, even the Ramones, though they were 70s, 80s, it's just such a genre that holds so many memories for me. Yeah, and I even noticed you have a book over there on your bookshelf staring at me that says the Ramones. So that 80s new wave was just so influential for me because it just represented some really special times. Yeah, Adam Ant
Something like this.
Adam Ant was one of my favorites. Ant Music, if you haven't heard that song, I don't know, I just love that song. And the other one was like 80s dance and disco music. I don't know if anyone out there remembers the clothing store called Chess King.
Yeah. And
I worked at Chess King through high school, and so I was really into what we might affectionately, where we grew up, call like Guido, you know, and so I wore all that stuff and listening to that 80s, like Lionel Richie, Michael Jackson. One of my all-time favorites was Prince. I actually saw him in concert during his heyday.
Yeah, you did see
amazing show. That guy knew how to entertain. But those were just two that really stuck out with me because if you saw the first video, we talked about learning how to dance, and so dancing's just been such a strong part of my life, Matt, for so long.
Yeah, some other artists I can remember you were very big into. You liked Hall & Oates. Yeah, I'm sure you still do, but I'm saying back in those days you were into like Hall & Oates.
I was.
Duran,
Jay Giles.
Jay Giles Band.
Joan Jett.
Yeah, Joan Jett and the Blackhearts. Right. George Michael.
I was huge, even when he was at Wham.
You mentioned The Cure once to me. You like The Cure.
Yeah, so I saw The Cure in concert in '89 with, I wasn't as big of a fan as a good buddy of mine, but he brought me. And it was just such a representative of what 80s new wave music and the fog, you know, during when they were playing that they
Exactly. And I remember also in the mid 80s, although it's not really technically 80s new wave or dance, we in the mid 80s went to see Bruce Springsteen in 1985 for the Born in the USA tour.
Yeah.
That was, I mean, in the 80s, that album, Born in the USA, was like so iconic. You had to have that album. You had to be into Born in the USA. It was just huge. I also have another memory a couple of years earlier in the earlier 80s, like 83 or so. We went to see a show at the stadium with the Police, the Fix, and Flock of Seagulls.
Amazing.
That was a big, you know, if you want to say new wave-ish kind of 80s concert for sure.
That would be a concert that back in the day, it was 83. I was 17 years old. It was just before my senior year in high school. Everybody was there. It was like, it felt like in some ways the Woodstock of my life because just seeing up friends and people in the stands.
Everybody, it seemed
was
like
an all-day event.
Yeah.
All-day event.
So I just thought, you know, based on that, your love for 80s new wave and dance and stuff like that, that I'm just going to throw through a few 45s we have here and see if any memories jump out at you. Like, they were big in the 80s, the outfield.
Yeah, the outfield. Not many memories with the outfield. I can't believe you have all these 45s.
Certainly
Springsteen, yeah. That really truly was a three and a half hour concert.
It
was long.
Oh
my God, I love the Fix.
They were part
of the band.
Triple bill at the stadium. They were a great little band.
One thing leads to one of my all-time favorite. It was the first concert I ever saw. Stray Cats.
Stray Cats.
Yeah, that's so cool. That was the first concert I ever saw. Was the Stray Cats? Well, no. I'm misrepresenting myself.
Well, not really. I dragged him to a McGuinn, Clark, and Hillman concert
from the Byrds
when he was like 13 or 14.
Yeah,
I don't know what you were.
Yeah.
But it was before I went in the service.
I was
took
12
it,
or 13.
And McGuinn, Clark, and Hillman, as you know, that's 3 members of the Byrds. So it was a great show, but I don't think you really understood or appreciated it at the time.
that's
That he saw most of the Byrds in concert.
I did see most of the Byrds in concert. Yeah, but Stray Cats.
Stray Cats was
love the Stray Cats.
the one you really sought to go see on your own.
I wanted my hair like that so bad,
Yeah.
and I had it at one point. If you could believe it. Not now, but I did at one point.
Back then, yeah, he had
Yes, I did.
Stray Cats look going. How about these Kim Wilde?
Yeah, Kids in America. I totally remember Kim Wilde.
And Mr. Mister.
Yeah, it was that. I remember Take These Broken Wings.
Oh yeah,
though that was
Carrie
another
A.
big, Carrie A.
Take on
You know
Me.
what? Awesome video. And if you ever see them, I think the lead singer might still be singing, and he looks really good for his.
Yeah. Remember Genesis? Big as
Yeah,
the
I
80s?
wasn't as. I wasn't. No offense. I'm not a huge. Though I like Phil Collins. Not always crazy about his voice. Sorry, Phil.
Go-Go's.
Really sorry, Phil.
Our Lips Are Sealed.
Yeah, I love the Go-Go's. And you know what was neat about Dave? You might.
Go ahead.
Yeah, you might know this more than I do, but weren't they like one of the big female bands that came out?
Oh, the
Or
Go.
like when they came out, like there was no other kind of band like that.
Oh
at the
no, they
time?
were unique. They were one of the first all-female bands that wrote and played their own instruments, wrote their own songs, and they didn't have a Svengali behind them putting them together like other female bands. They kind of did it organically. They were one of the first.
Yeah, really neat.
You remember Pat Benatar? Big.
She's still performing with her husband Neil
Giraldo,
and amazing. If you get to
Well,
see
they were
them.
a little later, but do you remember the
Yeah,
Bangles in
yeah.
the 80s? They were big.
What I remember about that song, I used to work at a supermarket, and on Monday mornings we'd have to be in super early because it's when you got the new produce in. And I always remember hearing Manic Monday. I feel like it felt that way even at whatever age I was.
Remember Joe Jackson?
Yeah, I do.
right.
Actually, stepping out.
Stepping out in the 80s.
Yeah.
And Big Country in a Big Country. That was
Great song, actually.
Kind of like a one-hit wonder.
Oh,
Glass
Glass
Tiger.
Tiger,
Those guys.
yeah.
Big hit in the 80s.
Don't forget me when I'm gone.
Yeah,
Right?
this is all from his era, folks. So
Crowded House. Actually, that's I like them a lot.
I
Actually.
know you were big. You saw Huey Lewis in concert, didn't you? I thought you did. I thought I went with you.
Oh, I
'cause
did.
yeah.
No, I did.
Yeah.
I did. But I didn't go with you. But I did see Huey Lewis. Yes.
Pretenders back on the Chain Gang.
Yeah, I love
big
the
early 80s.
Pretenders. Absolutely.
And
You were a big Pretenders fan.
Oh
too,
yeah, I love them. Billy Joel, big Uptown Girl. Was
Yeah,
big.
that's a great song. That's when you first saw Christy Brinkley in one of his videos.
And
FYI.
Billy Idol, remember him?
I
Big
still
80s.
like. Yeah, my favorite Billy Idol song is I think it's White Wedding.
Oh yeah. He's got a lot of great songs. So, and real quick, because we did mention the Ramones, you do have some good Ramones memories. Remember going to see the Ramones with me on several occasions? We had a lot of fun. I mean, I don't think I totally appreciated it. Well, I did appreciate it. I love
You
seeing
did.
them.
I think you did.
But I
because
think-
you'd make me go, and sometimes I'd resist because I'd be tired because I
Right,
was in
right.
school, college back then, and that would make me go, and I never ever regretted it. Let's
Yeah.
just say that I never
Because
regretted it.
They've become so iconic now, and they're just such a legendary band. And to say you have seen the Ramones is just huge. So we have wonderful memories of seeing them live. And hey, let's talk a little bit about today. What are you listening to today? How do you get your music? Where are you getting it from? And what are you listening to?
Well, I get my music, probably the two main ways I get my music is Pandora. I love creating stations on Pandora, and
Right,
it just
right.
depends on my mood. So there are current artists that I like, and Matt, as well as his boys, his youngest boy, will send me music or tell me about music.
Right.
So I still get it not only Pandora making stations, but I still get it the old-fashioned way that Matt just recently sent me like 3 awesome CDs that I loved, and it was taking music from the 70s and 80s, people that redid the songs.
Yeah, doing cover
Right,
versions.
and I love it. I listen to it all
Newer
the time.
artists
Yeah.
from today reimagining older music.
Yeah.
And it's really, really great stuff. And so no real drastic changes in your likes and things you enjoy. You still like some contemporary dance pop and stuff.
I do.
You still like the old dance music, the old new wave and rock and roll, that kind of stuff. And But you like songs that have you told me once that you don't like rap per se, but you like some songs that have rap elements to it, right?
So yeah, so I actually like a lot of rap, but if you take a song and then the ones that will put a rap element in the middle of the song, for some reason I like that. And I'm trying to think of a good one. Here's one that's not necessarily a contemporary one, but there was a song in 1990 called "Groove Is in the Heart" by I'm totally drawing a blank.
I know who you mean.
We'll think about it before this video
Groove is in the Heart.
Groove Is in the Heart. Yeah.
I remember.
But anyways, if you listen to that song, then there's like a middle part where all of a sudden there's a guy rapping. It's not about that I'm really attracted to.
Yeah. So let's talk a little bit before we wrap this one up today. Some of your kind of Hall of Fame, so to speak. What would you say is what would you say is your favorite song, for example? If you had to come up with a song, what would it be?
So if I had to come up with a song, I'd say I don't know. It's probably my favorite because of the emotional connection and the fact that's how I learned how to dance, and it would be "Dance to the Music" by Sly and the Family Stone. Like if you listen to the beginning when he's calling in the instruments. That's just such a great intro, you know, and everyone gets to showcase what they do before they even go into the song. I love that. So that would be, that always will have a special place in my heart.
How about a favorite LP of yours? If you had to come up with a favorite LP, what would that be, you think?
Well, based on my love of disco, and I always wanted to go to Studio 54 when I was a little boy. I thought that would have been the coolest thing, would be Saturday Night Fever soundtrack. There's not a time where you ever watching TV and a movie comes on and no matter where it is in the movie, you'll stop and watch the rest of it. Saturday Night Fever is one of those movies for me. So I love the movie. I love what it represents for me about that time. Growing up Italian, there's lots of connections with me with this as well. And just the music, you can't beat their writing and their singing. So
a couple of Desert Island LPs for you.
Desert Island LPs. Think about it. Some great music on both these, and some great slow jams as well.
Yeah. You also mentioned to me once that you really enjoyed the song on this album by the Bee Gees called "Nights on Broadway." Do you still enjoy it?
I love anything by the Bee Gees, folks. So let me just let that stand right now. I love the Bee Gees. Actually, Matt took me to see the Bee Gees in the late 80s.
I think it was like 1989.
89.
It was when their song, they had a comeback hit song called "One."
And that's a good song.
And that's a great song, and we went to see that tour, and it was a fabulous show. We had great seats. So
the Bee Gees are fantastic, and also Massachusetts.
Yeah, one of their earlier hits.
Yeah, I like that song as well. So, but
great
Saturday Night Fever is the bomb. How Deep Is Your Love?
Yeah,
come on,
great
it's
stuff.
It's awesome.
So let me ask you this: name some of your favorite artists. What do you got for some favorite artists?
Oh, all right. So of course the Bee Gees. Then when I think of solo artists, I'm gonna give you two, and they're probably vastly different. But one's Prince in the Revolution, and I'm talking like 80s Prince. Even though Prince was awesome through the 90s as well, but I saw him in concert, and if you just listen to his music, especially Purple Rain, that soundtrack for Purple Rain, again, another soundtrack for my high school days, for me. Yeah. And then another one, just there's so much I love about her, and if folks give her a try, you're gonna love her too, just not only for her music, and she does all her own writing, but just her hospitality and her genuineness is Dolly Parton.
Dolly Parton.
I love Dolly Parton.
Sorry, I don't have a Dolly Parton.
I know. I have a Dolly Parton T-shirt in the other room. I wish I had thought to bring it out because I do have Dolly Parton. But I saw her in concert about 4 years ago.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah, she was awesome.
I think she's a fabulous artist, that's for sure. And I'd be remiss if I didn't mention us growing up. We always listened to this a lot. Do you remember this old show with Casey?
Where'd you get that?
Oh, it's just I got it at an old record store. It's one promotional one that would go out to a radio station so they could play the show.
What year is it?
Oh, this one's from
85, 86?
85 or so, 86.
Yeah, all right.
So that would be stuff he listened to on here, for sure.
Yeah, I used to listen to Top 40 every week.
This is my only Casey Kasem Top 40 album. It was given to a radio station, and somehow it ended up in one of my favorite music stores locally, and I grabbed it. but just to have it as a collectible edition of Casey's show. So
Yeah,
that was
neat.
definitely big for us.
Yeah.
All right, folks. Wow, we're covering a lot of ground and the time goes by so quick, and I don't want these to go too long. So I'm going to end it right there and say thanks to Scott Street. And if we can, we'll try to come back for one more short one. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.